First of all, thank you, Dr. Raquel, for reminding me to do this. And I apologize for missing out last week. I was having some internet issues. And thank you, Dr. Caro, for making me get my production going, make it work. I'm hoping this time it'll be a little bit better. Thank you so much, everybody, for watching. So, it's just an interesting parsha this week. The parsha starts off with an interesting concept. It says, "V'haya ki Sovo ela aretz asher Hashem Elokecha nosen lecha nachla." So, in contrast to last week, we use a word over here, "V'haya," and it will be a time, ki Sovo, that you're going to come into the land, that God gives it to you, etc., etc. The Ar Chaim actually points out very interestingly. He says that every time it says "V'haya," it's a time of happiness. That means the time that you're going to be accepted into you're going to go into the land of Israel, of Eretz Yisrael, of Israel, you're going to be happy. It's something that's going to make you happy. It's a time of happiness, of excitement, and all the positive things that happen to us. But before we get excited, we have to remember that when we go in, that we have one thing to do, and that's what the pasuk is talking about. That we have to realize that everything comes from Hashem, and we have to be thankful. So what are we going to do? We're going to look at the fruit and the vegetables. We're going to look at the fruit that come up Meirashis Priyad Masecha, from the beginning of the fruits that come from the land, and you can take some of that and you're going to bring it to. You're going to set it aside for HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The interesting thing about that is when we set it aside, it's not like we do all different mitzvahs and we say things when we do mitzvahs and so on and so forth. This mitzvah has a specific type of prayer that we say with it when we give it to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. There's a specific type of prayer. That prayer is being thankful for the fact that Hashem gave it to us, remind us that everything comes from Hashem, and remind us where we come from. The reason for that is that we have to realize, first of all, the happiness and excitement of what HaKadosh Baruch Hu, what Hashem gave to us. We also have to realize that Hashem gave us stuff to make us happy. That's why it's V'haya, there's happiness. But we can't always thank Hashem right away because we don't necessarily have we don't necessarily have a fruit right away. But by the time the fruit come, we have to remind ourselves about that Hashem gave it to us. That means that we shouldn't get distracted. We will be distracted by the fact that we're trying to get into our space in Eretz Yisrael. We're trying to find our spot there. And so because of that, we should remember that before we go in, that we should set aside, remind ourselves that when we got in, we're going to have to do this. And 6 months, a year, or 2, 3 years down the line, when we have the fruit from the land, we're going to remember to set it aside and remember to still be thankful. That means what happens is, it's reminding us something, the psychology of a human being, that right away sometimes we're happy about something, we're excited to go into a new land, a new place. But then what happens is that the excitement wears off. So we're not as thankful. So if we meet the person that helped us get there right away, the excitement is there and we're so excited, we're going to want to help them and do anything they want or can for the rest of our life. A month later, 2 months later, the further we are away from it, the more we forget. And that's what the Torah tells us, and that's what we have to do, is we have to remember this, and it's not something that instantaneously we have to thank Hashem, because everybody does that. Of course you can thank Hashem right away when you get there. But the thankfulness that has to happen when the fruit comes, when the greatness of the land stands out to you. And sometimes it'll look like we did the work. I did the work. It's Priyat Masecha. God is calling it the fruit of your land. That means that you did stuff to make the fruit work and happen. Then you have to remember to bring from the first of that to Hashem. That we still have to be happy and excited that Hashem brought us to where we were. And Hashem gave us everything, and Hashem gives us everything. Now that we're coming up on the new year, so there's a saying that happens that we talk about. We say, get rid of the old year. In Hebrew, we say, get rid of the old year and all of its negativity, and bring the new year with all its happiness. At the same time, we should remember there were great things that happened this year. No matter as much negativity that might have, God forbid, chas v'shalom, happened to any one person this past year, we have to remember there's a tremendous amount of happiness that happened this year too. And we should be thankful for that. And with that, we should be able to look forward for the great things that are going to happen this coming year. We should be thankful to Hashem for the great things that are going to happen this coming year. And Mirz Hashem, this coming year will be more great, more happiness and more greatness, more good things, and less of the negative things. HaKadosh Baruch Hu should bless each one of us. That we should all be blessed with only happiness and excitement in everything that goes on, and everything that He gives us. And realize that it's He that's giving to us all the good things to make us great and to make us happy. Good Shabbos, everybody.